It's January 11th. We have slaved away for the entire afternoon, getting all of our paper pots ready. Welcome to our channel, Green Thumb, Black Thumb. I'm Black Thumb Karen. All right, so these are our cardboard pots. We just did one pot per type of seed that we're testing because honestly, these were a bit of a pain in the butt to make and we were running out of space. Anyhow, these three back here are just some old seeds we're having fun with. Here are the egg cartons. Now we did extra seeds for the egg cartons just because, you know, it's a dozen. So instead of doing 5 of each, we did 6 of each. And over here, we got the rest of them. We have them named and dated up in the top of the top here. Down here, we have all of the toilet paper tubes here. And back here, we have all of the newspaper tubes. Then last but not least, we have our snail rolls. We've used bubble wrap here. So I have them on this little plant shelf that it's like a little greenhouse kind of thing with the little door and the vent holes here that you can put, you know, cover up if it gets cold. And we're expecting some very cold nights in the next week. So I will be using it. I guess I'll be checking these every few days. I'll come out here and we'll see how they do. Okay, it's January 15th, and we're going to check in on our little paper pot experiments. I think everything's really slow to sprout because it's been pretty chilly, despite the fact that it's been in this little greenhouse shelf system. But we're starting to see a little bit signs of life. Really, none in the cardboard pots yet, but it's hard to say if that's because they're in cardboard pots or not. I don't think so, but here, you can see there's a little shelling pea, starting a green arrow shelling pea. I don't see anybody else here in the egg cartons. And I really don't see anybody else in the egg cartons over here. All right, moving down. Toilet paper tubes. Okay, the green arrow shelling peas are starting to come up. The radishes, shocker, those are starting to come up. I think you could probably throw radishes in the Sahara Desert and they'd grow. Okay, here, again, we see a little bit of radish. Those are starting to pop up. I don't really see, oh, here's a pea, green arrow pea, and oh, here, an arugula. No bok choys or anything yet. So, looks like that's going to be that for now. Not tons to report, but we're going to keep on and keeping on. Okay, today's January 19th. We're going to check in on our paper pots. Here we are. So I'm going to start up here. Here are the cardboard pots that we did. And I guess just because temperatures have been pretty cold, so I'm guessing it's slowing certain things down from sprouting a lot. But we have arugula going crazy in here. Radish, I would have expected more. I know we planted several seeds in there. Then we have broccoli here and a pea in here. I'm not seeing any others. Okay, so in the egg cartons here, these are the green arrow peas that are sprouting and no broccoli in here yet. Over here we have one Waltham broccoli and we have one spinach, and that is our Bloomsdale spinach. Okay, and of course over here we have a lot of arugula going pretty well here. And we did only plant a couple seeds per little space here. And then over here we have actually some iceberg lettuce. That seems to be doing pretty good. I don't think I've seen iceberg sprouting in anything else. So over here we have some radishes. We've got a couple here that didn't sprout. I don't know why. And on the other half is bok choy. In the newspaper pots here, we have arugula going pretty good. Radishes going pretty good. We have a few of the green beans doing all right. And we even have an iceberg sprouting. There's a broccoli. No, that one's a calabrese broccoli. That's what that looks like. And in the toilet paper tubes, the arugula is going really well here. No Waltham broccoli that I can see. we have one calabrese here. And over here, we have some radish. They're doing okay. Well, we have our green arrow, peas, and over here, oh, look at that. We've got quite a few iceberg lettuces in here. I think those are doing the best so far in the toilet paper tubes. And down here, these guys are going bonkers. I think these are rockets. Back here we have our green arrow shelling peas. Up here we have arugula. And here we have radish. And over here we even have a few little icebergs. I am not seeing any... Oh, I take that back. Calabrese broccoli is here. Not seeing anything in the spinach department. And the bok choy, I'm not seeing anything. And the Waltham 29, I don't see anything. But I have to say, these guys I've had to water the least of everybody. The newspaper pots here, they actually require more watering. I just guess because they're so thin, they dry out pretty fast. These guys, they dry out on the top a little bit on the faster side. These guys in the egg cartons, they really dry out kind of fast, but there's not much there to hold any water. And these, honestly, these probably are almost as long lasting with the water as the snail rolls are. These don't need frequent watering either. Maybe a little tiny bit more than the snail rolls, but they're pretty good to be honest. Okay guys, it's January 25th and it's time to check in on our paper pot experiment. All right, so we're gonna start here with the cardboard pots. The arugula clearly is doing really well. The Waltham broccoli is finally deciding to come out and play. We've got a pea. I guess we've got another one in here starting to sprout. A little bit of iceberg lettuce starting to come up. One spinach. And the calabrese broccoli is doing okay. No bok choy. Okay, so over in the egg cartons, we have here is the calabrese broccoli. All in here. And then over here we have our green arrow peas. They're doing pretty good actually. The peas are pretty strong. And then over here we have one Waltham broccoli, another one over here that looks like it's starting to sprout. And then we have 3 little spinaches here. And then over here the iceberg lettuce is doing pretty darn well. And over here is the arugula, which also looks like it's doing pretty darn well. And over here, okay, these are the radishes. And I don't know if radishes cannot do well no matter what. Is the bok choy not sprouting at all. All right, so in our toilet paper pots here, we have Waltham broccoli. One right there starting to sprout. One right there. And then we have the calabrese broccoli. These seeds were all fresh. So it looks like the calabrese either likes these temperatures a little better or it's just a stronger type of broccoli. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's clearly doing better than the Waltham 29. Okay, so here's the arugula. It's doing great. Okay, so this clearly is not a radish. It is a spinach, but it is among the radish, radii, whatever the plural of that may be. Okay, and over here we have the green arrow peas. They're doing okay. Okay, and then here, bok choy, nothing. So iceberg lettuce is doing pretty good. So over here we have spinach, and it's doing all right in this area. Okay, so here are the newspaper pots. The spinach is here, so it's clearly not quite doing as well as it's doing in some of the other pots. Iceberg lettuce is actually doing all right. Again, no bok choy. And the green arrow peas doing great. The radishes are doing great. The arugula doing really good. Actually, it's doing quite well in these. And then the calabrese broccoli. Okay, that looks like a radish, but it's kind of hard to tell a young radish from a young broccoli. But in any case, here's the calabrese broccoli. And then we have our Waltham 29s and a spinach that got into these somehow. So that may have been what happened here. A radish seed popped into our calabrese broccoli row. That happens. All right. And last but not least is our snail rolls. Yeah, you guys, these things are kind of kicking butt here. We have everything that has sprouted except the bok choy. So I'm going to get back to that in a second. But here's the arugula. Here's our radishes. They're huge. I mean, relative to all the other ones, they're huge. Spinach and the iceberg lettuce. The calabrese broccoli. Let me get my camera back here. Okay, calabrese. Even the Waltham is doing pretty good. It's a little slow start. And then here's our green arrow peas and no bok choy. Okay, so what's up with the bok choy? Well, I think they've reached the end of their life. I don't think it's the paper pots at all, since none of them are sprouting any bok choy. So I think, although those are the same seeds that I planted earlier this year to grow the bok choy that I grew in my garden, they appear to have just all at once suddenly petered out. That's just kind of weird to me, but they were a little on the old side to begin with. But anyhow, I think that's what's going on with the bok choy. So I guess those are out of the experiment. Okay, guys, so today is January 31st, and I think we're just going to go ahead and call it for the paper pot experiment. We did plan to continue the paper pot experiment, and maybe we'll do that. We might be forced into a little bit altered experiment. But we're going to take these plants and we're going to plant them out into a big 100-gallon cloth pot. But the weather isn't going to let us do that. I mean, I'm filming this right now and it's the high of the day at 44 degrees. And in 1 hour, it's going to be back into the 30s with no end in sight for the next 10 days. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say I am actually starting to get angry at the weather. And I mean, here in the South, we're just kind of not ready for prolonged hard freeze periods. Pardon me. And tonight it's going back down to 21 degrees. Yay! So I'm going to go ahead during this hot weather spell we have at 44 and show you what has become of the paper pot experiment. So here we have all the different experiments going on. So we'll start with this is the arrow peas and the egg cartons, and we have the green arrow peas and the toilet paper tubes. We have this one big one here, and all the rest of them are a couple inches at best, and here they're a couple of inches at best. Over here in the newspaper pots, we have the green arrow peas are quite a bit bigger. Well, at least a couple of them are, and the rest of them seem like they're a little bit more aggressive. Then we have our cardboard, which is weird. You know, there's one that's doing well. This other one down here is not so much. In our snail rolls, we have these guys, and they're all doing really well. Hi, Roger. He's here to help again. What a helper he is. Please don't eat the plants, okay? Thank you. So, among the green arrows, peas, clearly this snail roll is the winner. So, I would say in second place is the newspaper pots. Third place is the cardboard pots. Fourth place is the egg cartons. And in fifth place, and maybe it wasn't a fair trial because we only did one, so, but we had 2 or 3 of them in this cardboard pot, but only one grew. Egg cartons, spinach, we had 3 or so of them come up. Paper, toilet paper rolls, we have, we only planted 2 or 3 per pot, and they're doing all right. So they're doing pretty good. Now, weirdly, in the newspaper pots, they're not doing so well. So it's looking like maybe these are pot specific. Then over here in our cardboard, we have this one, and it's growing well for the one that sprouted. And over in our snail rolls, we have all these guys looking really pretty good. So once again, snail roll is the winner. So here we have our Waltham 29. Sorry, it looks a little wet because I just watered it. And over here we have the calabrese or Brisi, I'm not sure how you say it. They're doing okay. Not very many sprouted. And in our toilet papers. We have the Walthams in this row, not such good sprouters, but the Calabrese or Calabrese, they're doing better. They're just better growers, I think, in general. Newspaper, we have Waltham, but a bunch of Calabrese. They actually did better, I think, in the newspaper than they did in the toilet paper. Over in our snail rolls, we have Waltham here. Now they all sprouted pretty decently here, and we have the Calabrese here. And once again, both of them did better in the snail rolls. So snail rolls, winner. And radishes are kind of hard not to grow. They're doing okay in the egg carton. And over here in the toilet paper tubes, all in here, they're doing really well in the toilet paper tubes. They're also doing equally well in the newspaper pots. Oh, and over in our cardboard, we got a couple, and we only planted, like I said, 2 or 3 per cardboard thing. They're doing okay, not great. But snail roll, look at that hairdo. Look at that hairdo. You can't even see the snail roll underneath. So again, a clear winner. Arugula and iceberg left here. Okay, so in egg cartons, the iceberg sprouted very well, and the arugula seems to have sprouted pretty well. Iceberg in the toilet paper tubes did very well, and the arugula in the toilet paper tubes also did well. Arugula in the newspaper did really well. You know, that's weird. The iceberg in the newspaper didn't do so good. The iceberg in the cardboard did okay. And the arugula here actually did pretty darn well in the cardboard tube or pot. And then over in our snail rolls, the iceberg is going bonkers. And the arugula is doing very well too. So I think they seem to have done really well in a lot of these. And depending on how many you want to grow, I would just say that the toilet paper didn't do so. The newspaper didn't do so well. So I would say of all the methods for arugula and iceberg lettuce, for iceberg, the newspaper didn't do so well. So depending on how many you want to grow, I'd say depends on what method you choose here. I think they're pretty much equal. All the methods here are pretty good. And I think all that's left now is the bok choy, which didn't grow at all, and that's not any pot's problem. That is the problem of the seeds, which I think they just pooped out. Yeah, even in the snail rolls, nothing. Not a single one. Oh, I take that back. There's one. So the snail roll, by virtue of the fact that it has one, may be the winner. Let's double check everybody. Bok choy here. I don't see any there. I don't see any here. And I don't think there's any in the cardboard pot. Bok choy. Nope. Okay, so by virtue that there is a sprout at all in the snail roll, that means, in my opinion, snail roll winner. So you guys, I think I would just do the snail rolls from now on. They're so easy. They grow so many plants in such a small amount of space. They're super easy to take care of. They're water efficient. I hardly had to water them. I've had to water the others multiple times. And the snail rolls, I think maybe twice, I would just say, you know, if you don't want to grow very many, depending on what you're growing, just do a small snail roll. So one last look at them all together. I think they all pretty interesting experiment. We did multiple types of plants on purpose to see what kinds of things fared best where. And I think the lettuce and the arugula kind of do pretty good in all the methods. Outside of that, I think the snail rolls. So, all right. We're going to keep them in these pots. And if we can manage to get past this godforsaken weather and get them out into some soil, we'll try to make a part 3 to this video, but I'm not entirely sure. I really want the broccoli to be able to go out and the spinach, those two the most. The peas would be nice too. Well, okay. So we'll just keep on and keeping on.